NSFW, what is the worst thing you've ever seen or heard in a game of truth or dare? When I was about 15 years old, my HS soccer team had a code girls/guys team spaghetti dinner that turned into a code sleepover. Maybe about 6 guys and 5 girls. We ended up taking a bottle of really cheap Mr. Boston vodka from this kid's parents and all of us began drinking much faster than 15-year-olds should. I was beginning to feel pretty nauseous, but was determined to stay in the game of truth or dare that we had started. I was then dared to kiss the bare ass cheek of one of the more crude chicks on the girls team. As I pressed my lips to her cheek, she thought it would be hilarious to grab the back of my head and rip ass right in my face. The heat and smell were too much for my stomach to bear, and as I pulled away I barfed all over her back and ass. She totally deserved it. I got dared to use a zipline that nobody had likely touched in decades. So we climbed up a mountain while wasted in the middle of the night, found that my friend was not bullshitting and that it actually did exist, used our zip on it, and sailed over a 1,500-foot drop. And then the thought occurred to me that I had no way of getting back, and I had not even brought a flashlight with me, and had absolutely no knowledge of part of the mountain I was on. So I basically stood in place for 7 hours or so. I don't know if that was the worst, but it was definitely the most stupid, especially considering that the whole point of the game was to get with some girls who were no longer in a partying mood after I disappeared into the night. Genius move by your friend. Lol. Fucking idiot. He actually did it. Alright ladies, let's go back to the cabin. Who's up for some naked twister? All things considered, that actually ended pretty well for you. One of my mates said he had his cock pierced and nobody believed him, as he'd sometimes exaggerate/make up stories. To prove it, he put a straw through the piercing, and then another of my mates was dared to drink his drink through the cock straw. It was hilarious and weird, and both parties regretted it immediately. Was playing truth or dare with a few friends, my best friend and my best friend's wife. When they married they were both virgins by choice, from a traditional household. We are having fun, and it comes to my turn. I ask my best friend's wife truth or dare. She answers truth. My friend and I would always joke about arsos despising anal sex and being disgusted by it, so I asked as a joke, have you ever had anal sex? Yes. She answers. Her husband turns bright red and says no, we haven't. The two leave shortly after. Turns out she was a traditional virgin, but had lost her anal virginity back in high school. We didn't really talk after that. AHH the old poop hole loophole. One dare was to bake cookies whilst nude, but then we were out of sugar, so a follow-up dare required a second person going to the neighbor's door in underwear to ask for a cup of sugar. It worked and the cookies were delicious. Grad student neighbors didn't even bat an eye. They were probably like those undergrad dumb fucks. Oh well, back to studying. Man, life sucks. Source, was a grad student, hated it, was jealous of undergrads and their shenanigans. Edit, holy shit, I've been gilded. All that suffering in grad school has finally been worth it. Thank you, whoever you are. One time I was dared to kiss this girl and I passed, because I was in a long-going relationship with a girl I really love, 3 years, and so I did this instead. I poured really hard rum on my hand and lit it. I had to keep it lit for as long as I could. Once it got too hot to handle I had to put it out. Part of the dare though was to put it out with the watermelon next to us. So I proceeded to punch it open with my flaming fist and stick my hand in it for 3 long annoying sticky hours. You punched a hole in a watermelon with fire. That is amazingly badass. I was at a truth or dare party in college. Everyone pays $5 to get in and gets the same allotment of Monopoly money. You bet people to do things and accept bets, and whoever has the most at the end of the night got to keep the door. Greatest party ever. I just dared girls to make out with me all night until I ran out of money, so I had to accept a couple dares. Someone dared this other guy to eat a zebra cake off my ass, and dared me to drop tro and allow him to. I figured, I'm not eating it, no big deal. It wasn't that terrible, but it did get my ass all sticky. I also felt like I couldn't really complain because of what the other guy had to do. I wasn't participating, but there was one weird night when one of my daughters had a bunch of friends over. My wife and I were sitting downstairs while they were up in her room apparently playing Truth or Dare. Over the course of a couple hours we experienced some pretty weird stuff. Two of my daughter's friends came running downstairs and started twerking before running off again. My daughter came down and said, "Mommy, Daddy, I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant because I'm a whore." Later we heard a splash outside by the pool and a minute later a couple girls come running into the house wrapped in towels and dripping wet. I had to go tell them to not jump out the window anymore and that pretty much stopped the shenanigans. "Mommy, Daddy, I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant because I'm a whore." Without looking up from your paper/book. That's nice honey, make sure to feed, walk, and pick up after it. Pretty much how it went. At age 18, while at a friend's house digging around looking for a lighter, he finds an adult toy in his single dad's room. It was one of those hot pink, sparkly dildos with the rabbit thing on it. Something that didn't really seem like a guy toy, and it was in the spare nightstand, so we assumed maybe an old girlfriend's or something. Fast forward a few weeks later, his dad is out of town. There are a few of us over playing Truth or Dare, and I dare him to do something to his dad's dildo. At first his face turned 10 shades of red embarrassed in front of everyone else, but then he manned up, grabbed it with a Ziploc bag worn like a glove, then rubbed some cut open habanero peppers all over it. This was a Friday night and his dad was supposed to be back Saturday. Saturday night rolls around and he, our other friend, and myself are all at his house, quietly, as the one sneaking in, and I had been drinking. This was roughly 8-ish. As the other friend and I stood in the driveway we hear the most god-awful, blood-curdling scream. The type of scream that sounds like someone being murdered. We dash in just in time to meet our friend in the hallway as he flies into his dad's room. His mom, dad's ex-wife, is in the floor but naked, curled up in a ball screaming her head off. Apparently his mom and dad had been screwing around behind the family's back. A hospital trip followed, and after spending the night in the not knowing WTF happened, they ended up coming out in the open, getting back together, and then remarried. That was 12 years ago, and they are still together. For their wedding present I gave them a jar of habaneros that they still don't understand to this day. Edit. Wow, this really blew up. I don't know what to say. I feel like I just won an award and didn't have my speech ready. Thank you. Ryan, if you are out there, your mom's burning bush has become mildly famous. I never knew Reddit liked a good fiery love story. Your friend's cruel actions brought his parents back together. That is absolutely amazing. Parent Trap 2, Habanero Boogaloo. I once witnessed a grown white man with a full beard swap clothes with a 16-year-old Chinese girl. We all lost a bit of pride that day. It's not that bad comparatively, but it was still unpleasant. In 4th grade, we played Truth or Dare at my birthday party. It was all dudes, which made it kind of weird. One friend dared another friend to get nude, which was really weird. So my pal begins a striptease as we all beg him to stop. He got down to his stained briefs, dude did not let that dick drain all the way, and was just beginning to lower them when we heard a scream. My 7-year-old sister had just walked in the room to see a scrawny self-proclaimed street rapping gangster/meteorologist busting out his hog. He dove into his sleeping bag and didn't talk to anyone the rest of the night. We decided video games were a lot more fun and immediately ended the game. My friend denied anything ever happened the next day. Edit. Clarification on the street rapping gangster/meteorologist bit. Copied from another reply. This dude was obsessed with weather in elementary school. All he ever talked about. He was a white kid who moved to our very white city from a very diverse low-income city, so he talked like a thug while going on about cold fronts. He ended up becoming a meteorologist, though, so hey, good for him. I got really drunk in a game with some workmates, and I had to get out my testicles and touch them against one of the other guy's testicles. Probably pretty tame compared to what else will be on this thread. It's not gay, unless the bull's TO. We kinda don't want you to play. Edit. Thank you for the gold. My second since my inbox blew up I guess it's story time. Well, it was at one of those teen church lock-ins where they have a bunch of games and activities and you can't leave till morning. Well, I was sitting around with my group of friends there. I was about 13 yo. It was past midnight and all events were finished, so nothing really left but to shoot the shit. There was 7 of us, 4 guys and 3 girls. One of the girls suggested that we play truth or dare. Everyone agreed, all excited, and I was the last to speak up and said I'm game. That is when 2 of the girls, one was my crush, said at the same time, we kinda don't want you to play, could you go away? I was crushed. I slowly got up and went over to the SNES and looked through the box of games and found Zelda Link to the Past. I popped it in and played the rest of the night till morning by myself. What sucked was that it was in the same room as them, so all night I got to hear all the laughs and giggles. I got to watch them go off into the hallway. Each time felt like a stab in the back. So there's my sad story on how I was excluded in Truth or Dare. My friends and I loved this game in high school. One day I came up with the best dare. You had to be blindfolded and someone would kiss you and you'd have to guess who it was. Well, eventually everyone just wanted to play that game, so we did for a few rounds. There were like 8 or 9 of us, so one person would be blindfolded and everyone would vote on who had to kiss them. It was always a good mix of genders, guy/guy, guy/girl, girl/girl. Welp, it got boring eventually because everyone was just doing a light peck on the lips. So we invented round 2. Round 2, you had to kiss them for 3 seconds and actually move your lips a little bit, like a real kiss. Round 3, you had to make out with them for 5 to 7 seconds. Round 4, you had to use your hands and touch their face and shoulders. On particularly wild nights we would get to round 5, where you would have to actually straddle the person and make out furiously with them for 10 seconds. It was a great game though, and to be honest it taught me how to make out properly, because at the end we rated everyone's kissing. Round 26, ensure child support payments are successfully processed. Went to a kinky elf party once for Christmas. Good mix of a crowd, until we all got shit-faced. Some guy got dared to be blindfolded and get blown by some random girl. Guy at the party, who had always denied being gay, decided it would be funny to blow him. That's how my friends Tom and Chad met and got married. Congrats Tom and Chad. This is the best ending to a worst thing in Truth or Dare. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and click that bell to turn on notifications, so you'll be sure to know when the next video comes out. Want to watch some more? Check out my other videos. I really do appreciate everyone who helps make these videos possible. And as always, thanks for watching.